Hi, Izzy B here, and I'm excited to share with you another one of my favorite books. It's called Imaginary Fiends. This is a very special book because it has mixed media. It has illustrations and it has photography. That's why there's two names on my cover. Mine, Izzy B, and my good friend Mark, who is a photographer. So without further ado, let's read Imaginary Fiends. Imaginary Fiends by Izzy B and Mark N. Since the day he was imagined, Mr. Thrumpkin and Harry were the best of friends. But now Mr. Thrumpkin could only watch as Harry slowly slipped away. Board games were too boring. Only babies drew on walls, and pillow fights were for sissies. Even the dark was no longer scary. Mr. Thrumpkin could see he was no longer needed. So he left to the streets, to the back alleys, to the place where imaginary friends become imaginary fiends. Imaginary fiends were tough, so Mr. Thrumpkin needed to be tough too. He got some beautiful body art with a permanent marker. He lost all his marbles in a high-stakes game of checkers. He drew graffiti all over fancy tablecloths, and he left the caps off the markers. This guy's crazy. He sat in ringside seats at an intense battle. He forgot all the rules of the road in a high-speed drag race. Mr. Thrumpkin was almost an imaginary fiend, but if he wanted his own imaginary fiend jacket, he'd have to talk to the boss. The boss said,
If you want to be one of us, then you gotta go back to your kid. Lay under his bed and scare him real good. Make him regret ever leaving you behind, capiche?
That night, Mr. Thrumpkin waited underneath Harry's bed, and once bedtime came, he let out a low growl. Harry threw the covers over his head and he whispered, "I wish Mr. Thrumpkin was here." And as Mr. Thrumpkin was ready to lay on the scare, he remembered drawing on walls, playing board games and pillow fights. He remembered his vow to be a forever friend and not a fiend. And my friends, if you want to finish this story, you're going to have to check it out. Visit my website, izzybbook.com. You can find it on Amazon. And then maybe you could see what happens with Mr. Thrumpkin and his friend Harry. I hope you find it and can read more.